Hi, this is Nikki, and I'm here to share messages I get from Spirit and from all of our higher selves. And so this message that I'm going to share is letters 53 and also 93 want to come out from the books today. And so these are channel letters that I do between people's twins. And so 53 and 93, reason 53 is 53 just came through, but 93 is because there is something, I was with my friends, triplets, the third energy, right? And they were showing me a book about the planets, and I can't remember what it was, but the number 93 million something or other, was really significant. So that's also what wants to come through. And the Trinity and the third energy has been coming through really strongly. So I will also, the number 3s, 333 is also the Ascended Masters that are supporting us on this journey. And I'm going to tell a little story again about how it's showing itself at the moment. I did a Reiki healing for a friend of mine who isn't on this path, and who I would say, fair to say, is a fairly cynical around Reiki and sort of energy. And but anyway, he was suffering from anxiety, and he's a runner, and so when he was running, he was getting anxiety and getting anxious. So basically I said to him, well, if you're open to it, then I will tap into your energy and have a look at what the root cause of it is. So anyway, I did a session for him. And what I see is, I see him as a little boy in a supermarket. Well, it was in a shop, but he was running. But basically, he was separated from his mum. And basically, he and his mum was panicking. I could see her away from him. And she was panicking and crying, getting upset. And then basically, it was the panic that she was feeling was being transferred to him. And so we did a healing on it, and I wrote down everything to him, sent it to him, and all the guidance that came through and everything else. Anyway, he said, oh my God, I'm going to check with my mum. So he calls his mum, and she said, yes, you always used to run away and hide in clothes. And it was a real thing, and it made me really panic and be really upset with you. And his whole healing was about that he didn't want to upset his mum, basically. So it was all linked to that. Anyway, he was running a 10K that evening. And he contacted me just afterwards, and he was like elated. And he was like, oh my God, I said the mantra that you gave me. And as soon as I felt myself getting a little bit, like it was nothing like before, but as soon as I felt myself getting a little bit anxious, I started doing the mantra, I started remembering about all of the messages that came through in the healing. And you wouldn't believe it, Nix, but I did my personal best ever. And I asked him, I was like, oh, how much did you knock off your time? And he said 3 minutes. And just as I say that, it is 3:33 on the clock. So he knocked off 3 minutes of his personal best, and he didn't have the anxiety anymore because his conscious brain could then explain, and, basically because I brought it into his consciousness, he was able to rationalize it because he is a very rational-headed person. And so because he now knew what the cause was, he was like, okay, now I can deal with that. So it was just really interesting. And because of all of the messages that we always have as well, is remembering that this journey isn't a sprint, it is a marathon. It takes a huge amount of training. It takes a huge amount of self-discipline. And one thing that I can also share about my own journey is there have been significant milestones along the journey that I really thought, for example, before I set up the crystal grid, the Divine Love Crystal Grid that I do, I went for a Holy Fire Reiki master. I did my master in Holy Fire Reiki. And and there were so many things that happened on that course that really made me feel like I was going to come into union with my twin then. But actually what happened afterwards is I didn't, but I set up the crystal grid and set up this channel. And then there have been different phases through that. Prior to that, it was when I came back from, I went to Gozo, which is a little island off Malta, and I say now, I'm looking at it, it was like a 3 months. I did Reiki every day for 3 months and went to this miracle church and various things that I was guided to do. But that was, I guess, all of my awakening, really. But when I came back from that, my guidance was saying that I have to come back because I'm going to be with my twin. And that was like 2 years prior to me setting up the crystal grid. So there have been significant milestones. So I know 100% what it feels like when you really feel that you're coming into union with your twin and then it doesn't happen. And then something throws you off the track because, you know, whether it be they say, you know, for me it was like my twin said he's moving in with his buying a house with his girlfriend and, you know, whatever it is for you, you know, but there'll be a significant thing. There'll be a milestone and I can see along my journey, there's been like 3 or 4 times when it's been so strong, the messages have been super strong, and then it, you know, it doesn't happen. And then it's sort of, but what it does is it elevates you up because of course you have no choice but to surrender to the higher power and surrender to the journey, right? Because just like a marathon, you have to train and train and train, and you will undoubtedly hit a wall at some time, but you have to break through that wall, right? So that's what I'm being shown. I'm showing what I'm being shown at the moment is like there's a dam of water, right? And the water is being like blocked, and you know the water is filling up and up and up and up and up, and all of this water is filling up behind this big dam. And soon the dam is going to open and all of that water is going to shoot out. So basically all of the work that all of us have been doing on this journey is sort of like, you know, it's like, it's all there. It's all backing up and up and up and up. And it's just about when the floodgates are open, it will all come through. So, yeah, so I just thought, because I know that lots of people also have been, you know, thinking, I really thought my union was coming in. I really thought so. And then this has happened. And it's just made me feel just awful because it's now thrown my whole journey into doubt. And so I understand. I completely 100% understand. But those are milestones to move you further into your heart, right? Because when it happens, it's so distressing. But because it feels like your heart's breaking. But of course the heart has to break in order for it to go stronger, in order for it to be more vulnerable, in order for it to open up more and more and more. And so that, just like I've been shown, this dam of water that's getting built and built and built and up and up and up, that's what's happening at the moment. So just keep trusting, you know, keep trusting, keep knowing that it's happening for a reason. It's happening for you to go further into yourself, go further into your own journey. So letter 53 is that I'm sorry that I doubted you. There you go. I battled with my own heart and my own truth and my own feelings of self-worth. I do trust in love and I do trust in you. And I know that everything you say is what is within our hearts, within our DNA. We are programmed by our hearts to come back to each other. But then my mind gets in the way and puts those fears and doubts back in me again. I know our plan and what we agreed to do together, to find each other again, to experience life and love in our physical bodies, to experience the joy of seeing each other again and finding each other, the excitement that we had before agreeing to come down, the thought of being able to touch you, hold you, look into your eyes again and feel your hands in mine. That is what I need to remember and tell myself daily to remember. We came here to experience physical love. Well, exactly everything that I was just saying. You know, it is, you know, it's a push because it pushes you further inwards, and that can be a really painful process, right? But it's also meant to be that for a reason, right? And that's the journey of the soul. Break yourself open to learn more of your truth, right? So letter 93. You are the one person that has completely changed my view of the world, changed my view of life, made me want to be different, to live differently, to make different choices. I love that you've done that. I love that you constantly surprise me to myself like no one else I've ever met. It's a surreal thing. The love that I have for you is so strong. It's like child love, passionate love, caring love, consumed by love, all rolled into one. How can I have these feelings for one person? It's a mystery to me, but I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to you. I'm addicted to finding out more and more and more. I can't get enough. I'm in love, and love is my drug of choice. I'm yours, no doubt. Well, there you go. So, don't let the crazy fears creep in. You know, be in the heart. Be in the heart space. So, letter 53. I love you. I desire you, and I want you in my life now, forever. Every second of every day, of every year on this beautiful planet. I want to coexist with you 100%. When we finally get our union together, we will never take each other for granted. We will love each other every day as if it's our last. We will cherish and adore each other and look after each other and care for each other always. I know that my heart is calling out for you. I know that my soul is aching for you. My body is desperate to be back in your arms, loving you, all of you. 2 souls into one. That is my dream. Well, there you go. 2 souls into one. So, letter 93. Wow. How much do I feel for you? It's off the scale. The intense longing, the physical need to be with you is so beyond words. I've never had or experienced anything like this before. It's like trying to stay off a drug that you're addicted to. The feelings of craving and desire to have you, all of you to myself, all the time, and for no one else ever to come near you. I want you, all of you, and all the time. There is nothing that I don't love about you. I'm beyond obsessed. It's just too much. I'm freaking out inside. It's love. Well, that's crazy because both of those letters relate to drugs and addictions, and so that is very interesting. Because if you're like me, then my twin has addictions, and so yeah, interesting. Okay, letter 53. Of course I feel your sadness. I feel sad that we're not